All right, so, you want to talk about a game changer, huh?
Yeah,
Let's deep dive into this RS-26 Rubezh missile
definitely.
from what you sent over. It's not just another ICBM, right?
Right.
It's potentially hypersonic.
Yeah.
And T has this crazy, unpredictable flight path.
Uh-huh.
Like, how do you even defend against that?
It's a serious challenge, to say the least.
Yeah.
We are talking about a Russian intercontinental ballistic missile
Okay.
with a range of up to 6,000 kilometers.
Wow.
But as you pointed out, it's how that's got everyone on edge.
Okay, so break it down for me. What
Yeah.
makes this thing so different from, say, the missiles we're used to hearing about?
Imagine a missile that can change direction mid-flight.
Okay.
Not just slightly, but in ways that make its trajectory almost impossible to predict.
Oh, wow.
It's like trying to intercept a fly that's constantly darting and weaving.
Oh, geez.
That's what defending against the RS-26 is like.
Okay, now that's a visual I won't soon forget.
Yeah.
So how does this actually impact defense systems? I mean, we've got things like Patriot missiles, the S-400.
Right.
Aren't those supposed to be pretty sophisticated?
They are, but they're built on the premise of predictability.
Okay.
Systems like the Patriot or S-400 rely on radar to track a missile's trajectory
Gotcha.
and then calculate the intercept point.
Okay.
But if the missile is constantly changing direction in unpredictable ways,
Yeah.
those calculations become useless.
Wow.
It's like trying to play chess, where your opponent's pieces suddenly have the ability to move in ways you never anticipated.
So this RS-26 is basically rewriting the rules of engagement then?
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
It forces a complete reassessment of how we think about defense.
Mm.
We can't rely on traditional methods of interception when dealing with a weapon that behaves like this.
And it's not just theoretical anymore, right? This
Yeah.
isn't some prototype sitting in a lab somewhere.
No.
The RS-26 has already been deployed, hasn't
That's
it?
correct.
Okay.
Its first confirmed use in an active conflict is actually happening right now in Ukraine.
Okay, hold on. Yeah.
This thing is being used in the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Yes.
That's huge.
It is.
What does that tell us about its effectiveness?
Well,
About how Ukrainian defenses are holding up? I mean,
yeah.
it's got to be putting a lot of pressure on them.
Well, it's forcing a real-time evaluation, that's for sure.
Yeah,
We've seen Ukrainian forces achieve some success against older Russian missiles.
right.
But the RS-26 is a different beast altogether.
Yeah.
Its deployment really raises questions about whether their current defenses are up to the task.
And I imagine this is putting immense pressure on NATO allies.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, are we talking about a scramble to get more advanced technology into Ukraine's hands?
Yeah,
What kind of support are we looking at here?
absolutely. The arrival of the RS-26 has intensified calls for NATO to provide Ukraine with more sophisticated air defense systems.
Okay.
Systems specifically designed to counter these hypersonic maneuverable threats.
Right.
And this situation actually has some interesting historical parallels.
Yeah. Think about the development of radar during World War II,
Okay.
or the evolution of anti-tank weapons. Every time a significant new military technology emerged,
Yeah.
it triggered a wave of innovation and adaptation on the other side.
So we're potentially looking at a whole new arms race sparked by this one missile.
It's a definite possibility.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons the RS-26 is causing such concern on a global scale.
Yeah.
Its impact goes far beyond the immediate conflict in Ukraine.
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture here.
Sure.
What are the global implications of this weapon?
Mm.
What makes it so significant on that broader stage?
One word, duality.
Duality.
The RS-26 is designed to carry both nuclear and conventional warheads.
So it's like a wild card. Nobody knows what it's packing until it hits.
Precisely. That ambiguity is a key part of its strategic value. It introduces a level of uncertainty
Yeah.
that complicates any potential response
Right.
for Russia's adversaries.
Yeah.
It means they have to consider every potential scenario,
Okay.
from a limited conventional attack to a full-scale nuclear strike.
Wow.
That's a lot of pressure to put on decision-making.
And I can't imagine that sits well with NATO. It must be causing some serious anxiety among Western nations.
It definitely challenges the existing balance of power.
Right.
The RS-26 and weapons like it introduce a new level of risk and uncertainty into the equation.
Okay.
For decades, the concept of deterrence has played a major role in preventing large-scale conflict between major powers.
Now, for those of us who aren't military strategists, can you unpack that a little?
Sure.
What exactly does deterrence mean in this context?
It's the idea that having a strong military capability, particularly in terms of nuclear weapons,
Yeah.
will discourage other nations from attacking you.
Okay.
The risk of retaliation is simply too great.
Right.
It's like two people pointing guns at each other.
Oh.
Nobody wants to shoot first because they know it'll lead to destruction for both sides.
But this RS-26 throws a wrench into that whole idea, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If nobody knows what kind of warhead it's carrying,
Right.
how can you make informed decisions about responding?
Exactly. It raises the stakes significantly.
Yeah.
And the more unpredictable the situation becomes,
Right?
the greater the risk of miscalculation of unintended escalation.
Hmm.
And it's not just Russia that's developing these kinds of weapons.
Oh, really?
The U.S. and China are also investing heavily in advanced missile technology, including hypersonic capabilities.
So it sounds like we're on the brink of a whole new kind of arms race.
Yeah.
But this time the weapons are even more dangerous,
Yeah.
even more unpredictable.
Yeah, it's a worrying thought. We spent decades building a system of deterrence, trying to maintain some semblance of stability.
Right.
And then along comes a weapon like this that seems to completely upend the game.
It certainly highlights the challenges of maintaining peace in a world where technology is advancing at such a rapid pace.
Right.
And as we discussed, the RS-26 is really just a symptom of a larger trend.
A global push towards developing increasingly sophisticated and potentially destabilizing weapon systems.
Okay, so let's try to bring this all together. We've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From the specifics of the RS-26's capabilities to its impact on the conflict in Ukraine and its wider implications for global security.
Right.
If we had to boil it down to a few key takeaways, what would those be?
First and foremost, I think the RS-26 underscores the rapidly evolving nature of warfare.
Yeah.
We're moving into an era where speed, maneuverability, and unpredictability are becoming increasingly dominant factors. Traditional defense systems are struggling to keep pace with these advancements.
Right.
And that has profound implications for strategic planning and decision-making.
And as you pointed out, it's not just a regional concern.
Right.
This isn't just about Ukraine defending itself against Russian aggression.
Yeah.
The RS-26 and weapons like it are changing the global landscape,
Yes.
creating a new set of challenges for international relations and security.
Precisely. The development and deployment of these kinds of weapons,
Right.
especially those with dual-use capabilities like the RS-26,
Yeah.
introduce a level of uncertainty and risk that's difficult to manage. It forces nations to rethink their defense strategies, their alliances,
Yeah.
and their very approach to diplomacy.
It really does feel like we're at a crossroads.
I agree.
We have this incredible technological capacity,
Yes.
but we're struggling to figure out how to use it responsibly, how to prevent it from leading us down a path of escalating conflict and potential disaster.
It's a daunting challenge, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But I think it starts with awareness.
Okay.
The more we understand these technologies, their capabilities, and their potential consequences,
Right.
the better equipped we are to engage in meaningful dialogue,
Yeah.
to seek out solutions that prioritize diplomacy and cooperation over military escalation.
We've only scratched the surface here today, but hopefully this deep dive has given you, the listener,
Right.
a better understanding of what we're dealing with. The RS-26 Rubezh missile is a game changer, no doubt about it.
It is.
It's a symbol of a new era of warfare, an era where the stakes are higher, the risks are greater, and the need for international cooperation is more urgent than ever. Keep asking questions, stay informed, and stay engaged.